Hey, good morning. My name is Bill Bergfield, and I want to welcome you to this online course. Now, the video here that we're talking about, this one is actually called "Why Unstructured Time Quietly Destroys Confidence." That seems a little odd, but let me explain something to you. When people imagine or think about their retirement, they often imagine freedom. They imagine no more alarm clock, no more preset meetings, and certainly no more deadlines and no more schedule. But what many retirees fail to discover, what they don't recognize is sometimes quietly, very quietly, this freedom, that freedom without structure that they no longer have, doesn't feel like freedom for very long. You see, it feels like you're lost, like you're drifting, and drifting over time can quietly erode your confidence. In this lesson, folks, we're going to talk about something simple but incredibly powerful. We're going to talk about what I call rhythm. Now, when you worked, when you had a job, your day had structure. I mean, it had a built-in rhythm. And you probably didn't even set it up. Someone else set it up for you. You may not have loved every part of it, but there were anchor points in that day. There was a certain time you had to start. There was a certain time you had to quit. And once you got to work, there was a certain role that you had to step into, things that you had to accomplish. There were people there that expected you to get things done. They expected you to show up on time. And I can go on and on. See, retirement removes those external anchors. And if you don't replace them intentionally, keyword there's intentionally, something I call temporal drift sets in. Let me explain what that means. Temporal drift, folks, is when time loses its shape. Days get blurry. They tend to blur together, blend together. You're staying busy, yeah, but you don't feel like you're getting anything done. You don't feel productive. And slowly what happens, often without realizing it, you start to feel less capable than you actually could be. I want to give you a point of reassurance here. It's not a motivational problem on your part, folks. It's strictly a structural problem, a time structure problem. So I want to talk about new anchor points, new things that you can focus on, new things that are important. First of all, I want to make sure you understand this. The goal here, folks, is not to recreate a work schedule. that's the farthest thing from what we're trying to accomplish here. The goal here is to create anchor points, moments in the day that give time meaning for you and your life. I mean, think of your days like the hooks or the spines on a coat rack. Each hook, each spine is an anchor, and it holds every jacket in place. So it is with these new anchors that we're going to talk about. They will hold every time slot in place for you. Now, what are these anchors? Anchor number one is what I call the morning anchor. This is the one that you initially step out of bed into. This is how you enter the day. This is how you wake up, how you get things going. That's the morning anchor. Anchor number one. Anchor number two is what I call the deep purpose time anchor. Now, this is where your mind is actually going to work. This is where you're actually going to create, where you're going to build, where you're going to accomplish. This is the most important time anchor during your day. And you need to access it when it fits your most active time frame during the day. The third anchor, that's the one that I call the social midpoint anchor. This keeps you connected to other people. Retirement without connection becomes isolation, folks. That is not a good thing. And so this third anchor, the social midpoint, it keeps you connected to other people. And then the fourth anchor, is the one I call the low impact or the utility anchor. This is the one that just keeps your life moving, but it does so without draining your energy. It doesn't drain time or feeling from you. Now, let me give you an example of how I use these anchors in my day. Now, recognize this is my day. It's not necessarily what I think yours needs to look like. I just want you to understand how I place these anchors in my day so you can see how they work. I usually wake up but somewhere around 6:30 in the morning. And from 6:30 until around 8:30, this is my morning anchor. I climb out of bed, I get dressed, and I get myself a cup of coffee usually, and then I either go out and sit on the porch and relax, or I go on a nature walk, to try and determine why I'm so gratitude. What's my gratitude time? That's what this is. I spend time in my faith here. And yes, I do go to the computer and I do answer emails during this point in time. That's my morning anchor from 6:30 to 8:30. And then from 8:30 until noon, this is my serious time. This is my deep purpose anchor. This is where I create. This is the time where I write, where the time where I do recordings like this one. It's the time where I'm mentoring people. This is my important point in my day from 8:30 until noon. And then from noon until 2 o'clock, this is my social midpoint. I usually set time here to have lunch with my wife, Deb, or maybe go have lunch with my brother, or maybe a friend, or maybe go meet with some friends from high school or from college, or from my profession, my old profession, veterinary medicine. And this is where I'll meet in a group huddle. This is my social midpoint. It's where I'm with other people. It's where I'm becoming connected. And then from about 2 o'clock in the afternoon until 6, this is my low impact time, my utility time. I'll run errands during this point in time if I have any. Most of the time, what I'll do is I'll wind up riding my horses, getting them worked that day. And when I have time, I'll jump in a four-wheeler or gator and I'll go check the cows or maybe check fences, things like that. This is my low impact time. But I want you to notice something. There's nothing in here that's rigid. My time frames may end sooner than they set on my calendar, or they may end later. It's not a rigid schedule. It's just an intentional schedule. And that's the point that I want you to understand more than anything else. So at this point, you're probably asking, why does this rebuild confidence? Folks, confidence doesn't come from just staying busy. Confidence comes from knowing that your time has shape, it has purpose, it has meaning. When you control your rhythm, when you control your time, there's, how am I going to say this? When you control your rhythm, you stop second guessing yourself. You quit questioning what your actions are. You stop asking yourself, why am I doing this right now? What's so important about what I'm doing? When you control your rhythm, you'll find up, you'll rest better, you'll sleep better. And when you control your rhythm, you'll find out that you feel useful again. You'll find that you really do have purpose. Now, here's the most important thing. When you control your rhythm, when you control your time during the day, you begin to trust who you are. You begin to trust yourself again. And that, I think, is truly important.